Before we begin, I want you to do something unusual. Stop looking at the screen, close your eyes. This is not a video about visuals. This is not entertainment. This is reflection. Take a slow breath in and let it out. Feel your shoulders drop. Allow your mind to settle. For the next few minutes, I want you to just listen. Not as a student memorizing facts, not as a critic waiting to debate. I want you to be a person listening to someone else speak. Today we're going to talk about justice and what it really means to live as a just person. When we hear the word justice, we think of laws, police, and courts. But in the Bible, justice carried different meanings depending on the time, the writer, and the audience. In the Old Testament, justice was about law and order. Detailed rules governed almost everything: property, family disputes, crime, punishment, debt, even farming. There was a sense of fairness, but also of control. For example, if you stole something, the law demanded repayment. If someone killed another person, the law demanded retribution. Justice was about balance, restoring what was lost, punishing what was broken. But then the prophets arrived. Figures like Isaiah, Jeremiah, and Amos shifted the lens. They said, justice isn't just about rules. It's about caring for the poor, defending the oppressed, protecting widows and orphans. And then we move to the New Testament. Here, justice takes another turn. Jesus speaks not of punishment, but of mercy. Not of vengeance, but of forgiveness. He says, turn the other cheek. He says, blessed are the peacemakers. He says, whatever you do for the least of these, you do for me. So which is it? Is justice punishment? Is justice mercy? Or is justice compassion? This is where it gets complicated, because the Bible carries contradictions. On one page, you'll read an eye for an eye. On another, you'll read, do not repay evil with evil. One passage demands stoning for adultery. Another shows Jesus protecting an adulterous woman from stones. So what is biblical justice, really? The truth is, many people pick and choose. When vengeance benefits them, they quote eye for an eye. When mercy benefits them, they quote, forgive 70 times 7. This selective use of scripture has fueled hypocrisy for centuries. Slave owners in America quoted the Bible to justify slavery. Segregationists quoted it to justify racism. Leaders have used it to silence women, exclude the poor, and attack outsiders. But in each case, verses about compassion, mercy, and love were ignored. Convenient justice replaced consistent justice. And when justice is convenient, it is not justice at all. History is full of examples where biblical justice was twisted. During the Crusades, armies slaughtered thousands under the banner of holy justice. In colonial times, missionaries preached obedience to enslaved people, quoting verses about servants obeying masters. In courtrooms, people used scripture to defend segregation, discrimination, and denial of human dignity. But here's the problem. When justice is used as a weapon of power, it stops being justice. It becomes oppression dressed up in religious language. Real justice cannot exist if it excludes, exploits, or silences. And yet, over and over again, that's what happened. Yet, to be fair, the Bible also contains stories of powerful justice in action. Moses leading the Israelites out of Egypt, a story of liberation from slavery. The prophets crying out against corrupt kings, demanding care for the poor and oppressed. Jesus flipping tables in the temple, furious at exploitation. These moments show another side: justice as freedom, justice as equality, justice as compassion in action. It reminds us that justice is not just about punishment. It is about restoration, about dignity, about fairness. And it's not just the Bible. In Africa, the philosophy of ubuntu says, I am because we are. Justice is communal. No one is whole unless everyone is whole. In Buddhism, justice is not vengeance but the end of suffering. In Islam, justice is one of the highest virtues, balancing fairness with mercy. In indigenous traditions, justice is about restoring harmony, not punishing individuals. These parallels show something important. Justice is not uniquely biblical. It is human. It is universal. It is part of the moral fabric of life itself. So here's the big question. Do we need the Bible to practice justice? History says no. Cultures across the world developed moral codes without ever reading a verse. But here's the danger. When people claim the Bible is the only source of justice, they can twist it however they want. They can justify cruelty, exclusion, and hypocrisy, all while calling it holy. True justice cannot be owned by any one faith. True justice must be larger. It must be rooted in shared humanity. Even today, we see justice twisted. Politicians quote verses to defend privilege while ignoring the poor. Churches preach morality while covering abuse. Communities demand punishment for some sins while ignoring their own. But real justice is not selective. Real justice is not partisan. Real justice is not about power. Real justice is about protecting the vulnerable, holding the powerful accountable, and choosing compassion over cruelty. Anything less is just theater. So keep your eyes closed. Imagine a world where justice truly existed. A world where the poor are lifted up instead of forgotten. Where the hungry are fed instead of blamed. Where forgiveness is offered freely, not only when it benefits us. Where mercy is stronger than vengeance. What would that world look like? What would it feel like? And what if you, in your daily life, could bring a small piece of that world into existence? Not by quoting verses, not by judging others, but by choosing fairness, choosing compassion, choosing dignity for everyone you meet. So here's the truth. Biblical justice is a complicated thing. At times it points to vengeance. At times it points to mercy. At times it points to liberation and equality. And because it is complicated, it has been misused. It has been twisted. It has been weaponized. But justice itself, true justice, is bigger than any book. It is fairness. It is compassion. It is dignity for all. You don't need the Bible to know that. You don't need religion to live it. You just need a conscience. You just need courage. You just need the willingness to choose love over hate, fairness over privilege, and compassion over cruelty. That is justice. That is morality. That is what it means to be human. So keep your eyes closed a little longer. Breathe in, breathe out, and remember, justice isn't something you wait for. It's something you practice every day, in every choice, with every person you meet.